You may recall at the end of 2024, a woman managed to take a flight all the way from New York to Paris without having a ticket. At the time, all we could say was, how the heck did she even get on the plane? Well, now we have the answer. Let's take a look. Here she is going through security, right here. This moment isn't particularly telling of anything. Once you get to this point, you're pretty much through unless you screwed up and brought a gun or a bomb. It's what happened before this that's perplexing. As you probably know, you have to show your ticket and an ID to get to this point. Authorities offered an explanation on how she got here. Apparently, she was rejected when she couldn't show a ticket, but then she managed to get through when she waltzed through a line meant for employees. I've seen those lines. You usually have to show an ID or a badge of some kind. So whoever was supposed to check those badges must have been lax at the time. It's telling that the video of that moment hasn't been released. Regardless, I'd be willing to bet she brought a secret ingredient with her to pull all this off. The most important part of a good con, and that is confidence. If you act like you belong somewhere, most of the time people will believe you belong there. So if she walked past security with their guard down and acted like an employee, then that would explain this. But how did she get on the plane? Watch this perfectly timed move. Let's look a little closer because she gets incredibly lucky. On the left, a group gets their tickets scanned and they all walk in together. On the right, there seem to be two kids who go in together. With two groups beside her, she's perfectly able to fool each employee into thinking she's with the group. This woman holding her purse does not seem to be an employee, by the way. I would imagine the result of this maneuver is an adjustment by the airline. One person, one ticket at a time, individual lines, no big gaps. Lightning struck for this woman and the stars aligned in a way that must be nearly statistically impossible. So how did she manage to get all the way to Paris without a seat? Take a look at some of the reporting and footage from when this all went down.
New video of a suspected stowaway on her way to France from New York's JFK International Airport. The footage showing a Delta crew member questioning the woman after she allegedly snuck onto the plane last week without a ticket.
Rob Jackson, who was on the flight, says he overheard crew members discussing the stowaway.
The assumption was made that she must have been hiding in one of the lavatories when we departed from JFK. And then during the flight, she was seen moving from one lavatory to another, never actually going to a passenger seat.
Holiday travelers on board the plane got word firsthand from the pilot.
They talked to the captain. We're just waiting for the police to come on board.
Authorities say the woman is a Russian national and a legal resident of the U.S.
She's between 55 and 60 years old and had applied for asylum in France a few years before.
Look what happened. She erupts and gets unruly.
Please start helping me. I don't want to go to United States. Get asylum against United States.
4 armed French police officers and an interpreter boarded the plane.
She was then escorted off the plane. Our flight was probably 2.5 to 3 hours late for takeoff.